So why don't you tell my listeners, one, who you are and what your company is?
Yeah. Well, my name is Tofazzel Hossain or Tofazzel Hossain. I have a PhD in material science and engineering, focusing on energy materials, mostly on lithium-ion battery. And recently, I have developed aluminum-ion battery, and we incorporated the company as well. Our company name is InfiniCell Energy, and we're moving forward with this aluminum-ion battery technology.
Well, that's awesome. So for our listeners who don't know at all what we're talking about, they are maybe at ground zero. What does this all mean? Can you describe this a little bit more as to what the project's doing?
Sure. So if you think about that, what kind of battery that you're using in your cell phone or in your laptop, or if you have an electric vehicle, so everywhere you use lithium-ion battery right now. But the problem is that it is not fast charging. It takes hours to have full charge. Or even if you think about like the safety issue, you can see that there are a lot of news about EV fires happening. Or even sometimes if you board on the plane, you see that they say that, oh, if you have lithium battery in something, take it out, please, because there will be a fire safety issue. So we are trying to solve that problem. Definitely, aluminum is much safer inherently, and we have developed our own proprietary electrolyte and cathode material that is also safer. So ultimately, this battery is completely safe, non-flammable, and also we're solving that fast charging problem so that you can charge your battery, cell phone, laptop, or electric vehicle within few minutes. So yeah, that's what we're trying to solve.
That's cool. So this is one of those ones that maybe sounds almost too good to be true. So why is this not mainstream already? Like how have you discovered this and why is this on your lap?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, with all due respect to other battery scientists that's out there, everyone is working on something like trying to solve this problem. This problem has been since early 90s when the lithium battery came into the market. But everyone is solving in their own way. Someone is working on sodium-ion battery, someone is working aluminum battery, there's zinc battery. There are a lot of batteries. And every battery has their own issue and also solving at least one kind of problem. Right now, aluminum battery, it has a little bit comparatively lower voltage than lithium battery. So that's why probably people are afraid to use aluminum battery that, oh, it has lower voltage. Why do we use lower voltage battery, at least 10% lower than lithium battery? But it's not an issue if you think about that how you build a battery pack, because you are using multiple batteries together in series and parallel, and then you make the whole 60 volts or even higher voltage of battery pack. So it doesn't matter in the cell level what you're using, but it's just like we need to step forward to do this. And we're afraid sometimes to make a change just because there is a little bit different in the voltage or any other things. So I think that is why we don't see that very often right now. But there are some companies as well. They are also working on this. Even I heard that Tesla is working for their next Model Y car. And if Tesla is going to work on that, they're going to use this on their own product. But what about everyone else? That's where we come in.
That's nice. So you mentioned sort of fast charging a couple times in this, that's one of those sort of the claims that you're saying, like, we can do this better. What's happening in sort of the physical or the chemical design that's allowing you to say that type of statement?
Sure. So what happened is that there can be some passivation layer or some cases that when you do fast charging in the lithium battery, you think about that when you're moving way too fast and then move to another side, there will be a restriction that how much ion that the other side can take in. And that's the fast charging or the charging capability. So when it's not moving fast, that means every ion is accumulating at the same place and making it harder to move around there. So if I say this in non-technical way. Now for aluminum, what we are doing is that we're making sure that the layer that is distracting or like making sure that it's not moving faster enough, we change the chemistry over there for our cases in the electrolyte as well as in the cathode. And we use some kind of catalyst material as well that will help us in this reaction uh, that moves the ion faster than normal. And that helps us to have this faster charging capability without degrading the material. That means that we still have longer life cycle, but also we can have the fast charging.
Are there any trade-offs in, I guess, performance of the battery or anything like that?
Well, so far we have tested even at different temperature, like from 20 degrees Celsius to up to 60 degrees Celsius. We did not see changes in the performance, but I think that there could be some changes at lower temperature at 0 degrees Celsius or even lower. That also happens for the lithium-ion battery. Um, so it will work similar in a similar fashion, but much improve on the charging time. That's
Okay.
what I would say.
Yeah. Well, let's move over a little bit to the business model. So what is the business model for the company right now that you have the new tech that you're talking about right now? So like what is the business model for you guys?
Well, so what we're trying to is that it will be a B2B model, first of all. So that means that all the companies that they are building some product for the consumers, cell phone, or reality headset, laptop, or electric vehicle. So we're going to sell the battery directly to them. In some cases, if they need battery packs, that means that we also have to build the packs, putting hundreds of cells together. That's also going to be another model. But that takes time to build a pack, to make sure that it is enough commercialized product. So we're raising funds right now so that we can move forward towards that direction in few years.
When you're saying this, are we talking automotive? Is there a certain industry or vertical that you're trying to get into for right now? Like what does that look like?
Yeah, definitely our first target is the electric vehicle and energy storages, like all the grid storage. Now AI data center is a lot coming up everywhere, and that means that we need more energy storage than ever. So for this kind of energy storage section and EV is our main target. But I would like to also mention that we have recently signed a co-development agreement with a XR headset company called Greenpoint XR. So we were going to, they are our first customer in this way, and we are going to build the battery specifically for their specification. That will be our first one, and definitely all other this application that I mentioned, that's our target as well.
And will you have to build a full scale like manufacturing department, or like what does it look like in terms of manufacturing a specific battery pack system for the new client? Like what does that look like? Do you have to build up a whole system right now for you guys?
Not really. So this is another interesting point that I have always thought about before starting the project. That if you think about the solid state battery, that a lot of people mentioning about this, but for solid state battery, you need to start your manufacturing facility from the scratch. So what we did is that the way that we build make our electrolyte and cathode material in the way that we can use this in the same manufacturing facility that we have for lithium batteries. Only thing is that the powders will be different, this material will be different, and we can use the same manufacturing facility. That means we do not need to worry about starting our manufacturing facility from the scratch. And that's why we are targeting that instead of building our own manufacturing facility in next 5 years, we're going to license to other manufacturing facility in some other countries or even in the US if there is any, and they can make the product for us because then they don't need to start from the scratch.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And how do you protect, as I guess a formula or how you do it or how you put the pieces together, but how do you sort of protect that, that IP?
Yeah. Well, we already filed our patent.
Hmm.
on that this product. It is a broad patent right now to make sure that our defense is higher on that case. But definitely there will be more work, that more advanced work that is coming up once we go more operational. And
Hmm.
our plan is to make sure that before we provide any of our battery directly to our customers for testing, we'll get their specs, that whatever they need, we'll test from our side and provide the data initially so that they don't have the battery directly right away. But if they're satisfied with that, then because we already filed a IP, and then we can provide the battery directly to them, and we will make sure that we'll have an agreement, just like the already agreement we have this XR company, that they
Hmm.
cannot take apart our battery for
Gotcha.
any case.
Okay. Okay. What is the main manufacturing scale and challenges? Is it, production lines? Is it materials? Is it cost? Is it hitting certain targets of the battery's performance? What is right now sort of that main challenge to scale up, in your opinion?
For aluminum battery or lithium battery or overall?
No, for you guys in particular right now.
Well, right now, the main challenge is that I'll say that bringing this to the market and so that people can see that it has more capability than lithium-ion battery, right? Like, as I mentioned, that it has lower voltage. So even in manufacturing or scaling, it won't be a big issue since we're going to use the same manufacturing facility as lithium.
Hmm.
So we're not worried about scaling it. Only thing that we're worried about that how we can make sure that people believe in this product, how we can go to the market and provide that this is better product than the lithium. I think that is going to be a main hurdle because people don't like to change. And we already have lithium. All the infrastructure that we have right now, that is based on lithium. So we just need to
Hmm.
make sure that we change.
Yeah, gotcha. So typically, funding for tech and batteries can be very intensive, right? Just like, typically good amount of money. How are you working right now to de-risk that, de-risk the technology, de-risk the sort of the business model for investors right now? How do you sort of think about that as you're putting the plans together?
Yeah, definitely that is very hard work, right? To make sure that investors believe in this product and they want to invest in this. So as being in Arizona right now is definitely hard to reach out to investors because there are a lot of investors in the San Francisco area or in the New York, like in bigger cities.
Hmm.
But we are trying to make sure that show the product that we have right now and in certain way that it's not just the idea at this point, because investors most of the time they think that it's still idea, but it's not just an idea. I build a product, I have the data. Only thing is that we don't have a bigger cell that to connect to a cell phone right now or EV battery like that. But that can change with the more funding. And
Hmm.
but since the chemistry is proven, we're trying to show that it is not just an idea stage anymore. With that in mind, moving forward with the investors.
Gotcha. How do you think about safety and the regulatory world here? So how do you sort of navigate that, think about it, prepare for it? Like what does that world look
Yeah.
like for you guys?
Yeah. So if you think about lithium-ion battery, so there are a lot of compliance, safety compliance, regulatory that government push this industry to comply, and that makes sense because you see all these fires that is happening. And I have worked on this directly. That is why that I built this aluminum battery that from the scratch, from the beginning, it maintains or it complies all this safety issue. So if we test that high temperature that lithium cannot go beyond 60 degrees Celsius, then it will slowly, you will see the flame is coming up and then it will burst into flame. Whereas this aluminum product, it can stay up to 80, 100 degrees Celsius without degrading the material and without bursting into flames. Inherently, it's already complying like all these safety regulations. So we are not worried that when we'll build a pack, it will be a problem to pass all these regulations.
Gotcha. How do you think about competition? So I guess if an investor was asking you who's your competitor, is it just lithium batteries in general, people that are more specific to you, sodium batteries, or all of the above? So how do you sort of think about competition?
Yeah, competition is huge because definitely everywhere is lithium battery, right? And there are a
Hmm.
lot more companies still they're working on lithium battery and they're bringing the lithium battery. And especially right now, because of the safety issue, they're talking more about LFP chemistry in lithium battery, that this is a little bit better than the other lithium chemistry that is they're saying that is much safer. But also still it has problem with the fast charging, and still you have to make sure that all the safety regulation that it comply, whereas since it is inherently safer, so we are thinking that initially definitely there will be hurdles, but that's why to make sure that we go into the market without worry about our without worry about other battery companies. That's because we can get this small amount of customers initially and to show the world that this is a better product. And then we go to tier one. So initially our target is to tier two, like applications or companies, and then show to the tier one that it is something that you would like.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So, you're over on WeFunder right now and you have a round up that people can invest in. How did you think about going to them? What was the kind of plan behind the scenes? What was some of the conversations about looking at using an equity crowdfunding platform
With the WeFunder or the investors.
with the WeFunder campaign that you currently have right now?
Yeah, I mean, over there, definitely it is different than talking directly to the VCs.
Hmm.
So over there, individual people that we talk to through LinkedIn, and also there are options that they can ask directly, like question to us through WeFunder, and we're just trying to make sure that we can answer to their question as much as possible so that they feel comfortable investing in us. And even in WeFunder, you know that it is not a big chunk of money that they have to invest. So
Hmm.
small amount, so they're comfortable with that. And I think that is what like something that in WeFunder that like they are very comfortable of doing these small angel investors.
Yeah. Moving on, if investors are listening right now, which this is who we're targeting this to, how do you describe to them what is the biggest risk that you see? Like in your opinion, you're in the battery space. What is just the biggest risk right now in the entire industry?
Well, supply chain would be the biggest, I think.
Mm.
If you think about lithium battery, the lithium battery has lithium as well as the cobalt nickel, and these are not that abundant material on earth. That means this geopolitical issue and supply chain, and also right now what I have seen that a lot of shipping industry they're starting to ban EV shipping because of this fire safety. So because of the supply chain, at some point, a lithium battery, the price will be much higher than even right now. It's still already higher, but it will go even higher. And for aluminum battery, there will be a similar thing that if you think about the supply chain, aluminum is one of the abundant material on earth, like almost
Mm.
75% we get from the recycled aluminum. So even if there will be a risk of the supply chain, I think we can easily mitigate the supply chain issue through this aluminum product. And there are other product that I'm using in electrolyte and cathode material. So I try to think about that same way that how we can mitigate the supply chain issue in that case as well. And there are material that I make sure that these are also abundant material or at least enough, not like
Hmm.
aluminum type, but at least enough so that we will mitigate the supply chain issue.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So finally, like looking forward maybe 5 to 10 years, how are you preparing and thinking about a world that just may or may not look very different from what we look at right now? So like, how do you see that? And then how do you see your company fitting in to that sort of vision 5 to 10 years from now? Who, who knows where we are right now, but how do you sort of see yourself and see the company fitting into it?
Sure. So if you think about the EV industry, just in case that right now a lot of people are buying EV, and also US already put that in all the U.S. EV manufacturer that by 2040 they have to move towards the EV industry or like make electric vehicles more and more. That
Hmm.
means that this battery is going to be the one of the main source of that. And I think our company will fit right into it very well, because if we have only EVs on the road, that means that we definitely want that to be safer.
Hmm.
Because if one catches fire, the next one will catch fire as well. So
Hmm.
we need to make sure that everything is safer. Now, if you go into like long drive with your EV, you will have the range anxiety, and you know that to charge that, you will need hours of charging time that you don't
Hmm.
want to waste during traveling. So that will be also a something that our company will fit in. And another point is that AI data center. That's going to be huge. Already you can see there are a lot of places that we're building a lot of data centers, but we don't have enough energy storage in that case. Because if we were going to send all the energy to the data center, then what will happen to all the houses, all the offices? That
Hmm.
means we need to make sure that we have enough energy storages. And that's where lithium-ion battery, sodium battery, aluminum battery, whatever battery you think about, everything should come in to play a bigger role. And that's where our company will play a big role as well.
Yeah. Well, this is an amazing conversation. I definitely learned a lot. I do not know much about the battery space outside of popping them in and moving on with my day, charging my phone and moving on. So, again, where should we send people if they're listening to this conversation and they want to learn more and dive in? Where should we send them?
Well, first of all, definitely send them to the WeFunder link to know about our product, our battery, that what we're doing, and what kind of problem that we're solving. Also, they can directly contact me on my email address, tofa.hossain@infinicellenergy.com. And I will be happy to set up a meeting, or even if they just want to know something through email, I'm open to share.
Awesome. Awesome. For all our listeners out there, I'll go ahead and have all the links in the show notes. So if you guys are listening, you're interested and you want to dive in and learn more, just make sure you click on those links in the show notes. So Tofa, I appreciate you taking time on your day. This is a great conversation. I know my listeners are going to really, really dive into this. So thanks again so much for your time. Let you get back to it, and good luck with the rest of the campaign. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you too. And thank you for the audience.